Safety first at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we practice safety first. That's right, safety first. Remember, school is about to start. Look twice, then look again. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, where safety is first. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, 401k, up to 4% of your gross pay. We match it, 4% of your gross pay. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Drive for the best, Wiley Sanders.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town & Country Flooring Center.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Here we are. War Eagle. The Auburn Tigers getting ready for the 2019 season as they get ready to travel to Jerry World in Dallas, Texas for a big game with the Oregon Ducks. I'm Mike Amos. He's Bill Rice Jr. We'll be bringing you the play-by-play from right here in our studios on South Grundy Street in Troy, Alabama. So good morning to you.
Wouldn't it be fun to be in the booth at Jerry World?
And can't you, isn't it fun to be an Auburn Tiger with this guy singing to him all the time? What do you think?
Yep.
They're gonna fool everybody. Nobody thinks Auburn's got a chance now. That's when you don't want to have to deal with Auburn. You think they're going to get beat, you're gonna lose.
I want to go over to Biloxi where sports gambling is legal and make just one bet that Auburn's going to win at least 9 games.
I've got to be in Bruton tonight to speak at a Bruton Troy alumni club down there, and hey, I'm halfway to Biloxi this afternoon. And, of course, all you folks down in Bruton, Alabama, watching on Facebook, good morning to you. And, of course, hey, bright and silver this morning. I can't make it dark. I don't know what the problem is.
What is the battle? The Battle of Murder Creek?
You're exactly right.
C.R. Miller and W.S. Neal?
Well, guess what? Guess the name of the alumni chapter that I'm going to speak at.
Murder Creek?
Murder Creek Alumni Association. The Murder Creek Troy Alumni Association meets in Bruton tonight. And
was there actually a murder at Murder Creek?
Yeah, it must have been.
What you going to talk about?
But with those guys, Troy, oh man, I'll talk about everything that's going on at Troy.
Will you even write a speech, or will you just do it off the top of your head?
Oh man, way off the top of my head. I can tell you about Troy every day. Of course, yesterday they had a big freshman orientation at Troy and the Sound of the South, and they did it from down there in the park, where all the Ninja Warriors are down there, you know.
Terracotta
Warriors are. Terracotta Warriors.
My kids love going there and seeing them.
I bet, because there's plenty to run around, and you wouldn't have believed it. With the Sound of the South down in the bottom and all those students, it was really a sight to see.
I bet that was. That's a perfect gathering place.
Sure was, and of course everybody had a big time, and the Sound of the South could be heard everywhere. Thursday night.
Dun,
Thursday
dun, dun,
night,
dun,
the
dun.
Sound of the South will have their finale of their camp. You know, they practice 3 times a day. I went by the other night, Sunday night, I believe, to watch them practice, and they had been rained out, so they went into the band room, and they got all 365 people in one room.
Gosh.
To play. Can you believe that band?
365.
They're going to march 365 this year, so get ready for the sound of the South.
And they marched 400 before?
They've been close, but they say this is the largest by one person that they ever had.
That is saying something right there.
Yeah.
Who
The marching band though at Troy is for years. A lot of guys marched in that band for about 10 years.
Oh, no question. There were a lot of folks that you're exactly right. That would come down there and play in the horn section or the drum. Samuel Frederick, I know, played the drums in that band for 25 years at least. And you know, Samuel lives up on Sun Street. You know Samuel?
if I saw him, I bet I would.
Great guy, good friend of mine, and he is one of the top drummers in America. And
Wow.
And you know, you got him, Frederick, and then you've had Ray Smith, who's probably the top sax player. And what is the long stick that they play? What is it, Mike?
Long stick, the clarinet.
Clarinet.
I was thinking, I couldn't, it wouldn't come to me.
I couldn't remember what it was, but he's one of the top clarinet and top sax players in the world. So we got 3 of the top people in the world right there. Let's during our show today, let's name some other people that are as good as you can get at what they do.
In music or in any field?
Any field.
From local connections?
Local connections.
What about the Godwins in their? They're making their statues.
And you know, they've got statues in Boston, Massachusetts. They've got statues in New York.
Dayton, Ohio,
Yeah.
the Wright Flyer.
You see more than anything on the road is you see that Lynch coach company out of Troy that does the ramps on the back of the trucks.
Yeah, does the what now?
You know
Lynn Coach. Yeah, I know about
Yeah,
that.
Lynch coach does the ramps. You know the where you push the button, you go up and down the truck.
Yeah. Is that what they do?
To unload, yeah, you see those all over the place.
Yeah,
You know, I'm gonna start noticing that.
They're good friends of mine. You know, one of the owners.
Lynn Coach been a great company here a long time.
One of the great owners of Lynn Coach is also president of Troy Bank and Trust Company.
That's right.
You know, those ramps are huge, though, as far as unloading, trucks and they push the button, you go up and down, up and down. I mean,
well, I thought I thought they just made the shell, like if you got a truck, they make the body of the truck, the shell part of it.
They make the actual ramp that you push the buttons, the electric ramps that you push up and down.
So that's a big to-do, no
Well,
question.
that's a great question. Now you got me thinking. That's a good one, Mike. I think the Godwins are people that are well known that are based here.
Well, you're right across.
Whaley pecan.
Yeah.
Don't be calling. I cannot stand for somebody to call it a pecan. Whaley Pecan Company. And of course, it is unique, very unique. Whaley pecans, their shell pecans are as good as any. And now they do all their baking and they make their own candies right there in the store.
Do they really?
Yeah, and of course at Christmas, this is the best place to shop in town.
That pecan brittles, maybe some of the best stuff ever made.
And they make the pecan pie, and Mike, all over the Panhandle. I was in Publix, and they've got Whaley pecan pies in Publix now.
Boy, that's good if you can get in Publix.
No question about it.
You know how hard it must be to get in one of the big stores. I for a brief time sold these car flags, these magnetic car flags. Yeah. I was a sales rep for them, and that was the big problem. We couldn't crack it. We just couldn't get in the big stores, the Walmarts and the big sporting goods chains.
Well, I know they're in the carousel too there on the beach, and that's a very unique store. In fact, they say that the wine that
I was in there yesterday.
Mike, they say that it's probably the best wine store in Florida, right there at the carousel.
Yeah, and I live down in Grayton, which is in South Walton County, but everybody I know down here still drives to the carousel to buy their wine.
Well, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, though. They have a wine tasting.
I bought 3 bottles yesterday.
I tell you something they ought to be ashamed of. They have an all-day wine tasting deal every Saturday, and I see the same people. You reckon why? The same people up there buying all that wine, and of course, and then right there at the store. Right there, Crown, you're very familiar with Crown. You can buy it about $20 cheaper than you can in the state of Alabama. It's really amazing.
Can you really?
The prices there at the carousel.
What it is, I worked for a spirit company for several years in Alabama. Alabama's a controlled state when it comes to spirits, and Florida's an open state. So that means that, they can sell at a cheaper price. They can also bring in a lot more products than Alabama.
Somebody told me that one of the reasons they're so cheap was they've been there so long. They've been selling it from the same place for a long time.
That you can buy more bulk down in Florida than you can in Alabama.
Yeah.
And why does the state have to be in the liquor business? I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you one of the saddest things when I was a young man. You used to take that milk jug and fill it up for what, $1, $2 now price one of those milk jugs full of draft beer.
You talking about for draft beer?
Yeah. Where can you get it? Where can you get a milk jug? I used to get a whole milk jug.
They sell them left and right in Birmingham. All the high-end grocery stores in Birmingham have draft beer on tap in there where you can fill up jugs.
And you fill up a whole. I mean, do you have to bring your own jug, or do they provide it?
They provide them.
Well, I tell you, that was a.
You used to go to Shorter and bring back a couple jugs every once in a while.
That's right. And of course, that was back when I was a young, spry guy. We used to get one of those gallon jugs, go to the beach, and couldn't find our way back. On a hot summer day.
I can remember that.
On a hot summer day, one of the worst things you could do is carry a gallon of that stuff down to the beach and sit around all that.
That was fun. You went to the beach, you could get draft beer. That was fun.
No question about it. Now
Troy didn't get draft beer until what, 6-7 years ago still?
And they made such a big thing about it. I don't believe they sell that much. Troy University has it, and I don't think they sell very much of it. I
don't think it's people don't abuse it.
A lot of folks. Of course, to get
a keg in Troy in college, I either had to drive to Shorter or Andalusia to get a keg.
Andalusia? You mean Andalusia would have one? And
they used to have a place called Vinny's BP. We used to drive down there pretty long.
Now you're learning a lot about what goes on and what went on a long time ago.
Don't get.
Bill went to Alabama. Alabama had kegs about every other corner.
God, it would be shocking if people saw the number of empty kegs after one of our big weekend fraternity parties.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You go out in Tuscaloosa, there'd be about 4 keg parties before you went out, and then there'd be about 4 after you went out.
Yeah.
My brother Rush was the social chairman, so he was in charge of getting all the kegs and getting all the bands. I think he did it for about 2 years, and so that's why he knew all the cool bands throughout the South, as he booked them for the parties.
My brother Park, my good buddy with the Park band, he told me I can, anytime I want to go to a party up there, just tell them which part, where they're going to be, and I could go listen to them, and be sort of like a part of the band, and all these girls yelling and screaming.
You would fit in well at a fraternity house.
You're
he
right.
would fit in.
You're right. Yeah.
What was that movie that?
I'd be out there dancing. I promise you.
What was that movie, Mike? That
Animal House.
Old School.
Old School. Yeah, where Farrell went back to college.
Oh yeah.
He was about 50 years old, and he went back and lived with a fraternity and the college kids for a year or something.
All right, you buddy, all my buddies out there.
Do y'all finally want to vote on the Mount Rushmore for the whole state of Alabama? Best high school football players ever?
Well, we can do that, and we've
debunked a lot of them already.
Yeah, exactly right.
The poll is finally out for the final. You have to pick your final four. This is going to be extremely tough to do.
And also, you know, y'all don't even know what a country club can of beer used to be. Did anybody ever tell you about that? It was half a can of beer, and the folks that wanted to show off that they were drinking beer, they would get a country club because they couldn't drink the whole beer, you know. And Pabst
like
Blue Ribbon.
6 ounces
Country Club and Pabst Blue Ribbon was a drink of the day back when I was a young man growing up.
What happened to Falstaff beer? Dad used to drink
Falstaff beer, the right beer, yes sirree. This ball game is brought to you by Falstaff beer. Ladies and gentlemen, golden, and they pour it right there in front of you. They can't do it. They can't do that now, but they used to pour it right there, and I'd be a little kid watching the baseball games. I said, "What is that? Boy, that sure does look good. That sure does look good." And the first time I ever tried it, boy, let me tell you. I mean, how did the first taste of beer suit you? I thought that was the worst taste in my mouth. I said, "You mean they advertise that and make such a big deal, and it tastes horrible?"
You know, I kind of liked it, which was probably.
I mean, right off the bat, you liked it right off the bat.
It was different, and you know.
Maybe it's because I drank one hot that out of my daddy's truck.
I've drank so many over my life now that you lose that taste of what those early beers tasted like to you. You know.
And growing up.
All these high gravity, and you know they got all these different breweries that make their new all these new beers. You can try all these different ones. Like beer's come a long ways now. I mean, shoot, down here they've got 2 breweries. They got Great Beast Brewery down here, and then they got Idle Hounds Brewery. I mean,
but what I can't stand.
They've like about 8 or 9 breweries.
Don't give me a dark beer. I mean, a dark beer is terrible to me. I can't.
You don't like a Guinness.
No, I don't like it.
I like it for a change of pace.
No question.
For every now and then.
A lot of people like coffee beers. I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can try.
Well, I know you got hooked on. What was that beer that you got hooked on at one time? Not hooked on, but you want everybody to try. What was it?
There's a beer that comes out of New Orleans every year called Avita Strawberry that's really good.
Yeah. This was a flavored beer. What was it called? You down at the beach?
I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of different beers.
You're right.
Well, it's a flavor, and you wouldn't think that it'd be a beer. You can make a beer out of it. It was a big fad recently.
I call them fancy beers.
We got real big on ginger beer.
Ginger, that's what I'm saying. What in the world you?
Those are Moscow Mules. That was ginger that went into a copper mug.
Yeah.
Ginger beer and vodka and 2 squeezes of lime.
And of course,
it's called a Moscow Mule.
Of course, one of my sponsors is the great Horn Beverage, and they're great friends of mine, and they do a lot for local sports, and
they do a lot for the community.
A lot of programs, and we appreciate them very much. Of course, Troy University going into their, looking forward to their second scrimmage of the year, and it looks like that they're real high on their defense coming into the scrimmage this weekend. I watched, and Scott's not here, I don't think yet, but I watched the replay of last night of the big show we put on when Coach Chip Lindsey became the new head football coach. I thought that program that we did was the best work that I've ever been associated with at this station. I mean, it was really I hope, and we'll run it again soon, but it was when Troy hired Chip Lindsey and everything around it, the speeches and gosh, his exception, his speech and
acceptance speech, so to speak,
and our AD's speech and the chancellor's speech was just outstanding. Of course, football is just.
Little did you know the AD was going to be leaving a week later.
I know it. I tell you what, he was a class guy, though. I'm telling you, I tell you, he's one of the best. You watch him; he's liable to be big time one day for long.
You talking about Jeremy McClain?
Oh yeah, I think he could be. He could be the AD at Auburn in a second, or AD at Alabama in a second. He's that good.
I'll tell you, the AD at Auburn is off to a great start, isn't he? I mean, if you think about the football team underachieved last year, but then the basketball team almost wins the national championship. Then the baseball team makes a run and goes
sure did.
To the College World
No
Series.
question about it.
He didn't hire any of those guys, and then the president that hired him was forced out, so he might not be there very long.
Yeah. You know, Rice, it's good to be on the same level with you. Look at our level, Rice. You're not quite as tall as I thought.
It's all in the stool.
All right, Mike. Auburn has a new touchdown. Auburn! Touchdown, Auburn!
Yeah, they hired Andy Merchant to take over the play-by-play. Of course, Auburn lost Rob Bramlett, and tragic crash that killed him and his wife, and tough situation for Auburn to have to replace Bramlett. And of course, the fans, all loved him. And Andy Merchant's guy that's been doing baseball for 25 years for Rob Bramlett, and part of Auburn radio, I think, for 31 years. So he's a good choice. He's a guy that did a lot of football work as well. Yeah. So I don't think you got to worry about Barry McKnight leaving Troy like you're worried about.
And I'll tell you right now, I prayed over this because I love Barry McKnight. Barry McKnight, if we would have lost Barry McKnight to Auburn, it would have hurt, Mike. It would have hurt deep.
He's a class man.
It's one of those things, though, with Merchant, though. I mean, I guess he's the guy we should have thought about the whole time. I was thinking some guys from Birmingham radio.
I thought Merchant was a good baseball man. I've never heard him do anything else. And
he does the pregame, and he does the pregame in football and does the locker room report. He always interviews Gus Malzahn.
Well, I hope our people appreciate our guy, and maybe we'll try to make his job even nicer, because he does a super job.
Troy's brought in Doug Amos, which has been a really good.
I think so too.
Troy's radio broadcast is second to none.
Yeah, you know Doug Amos personally.
Yeah, I do.
Doug's a distant cousin.
Blackshear is gone from the guy decided.
Why did he leave? I thought he did a great job. Why did he leave?
He did a great job. I don't know. I think he's like some kind of representative or something. He works for the state, does some kind of capacity.
Yeah.
You'll have Jerry Miller, you have Barry McKnight, and then you'll have Doug Amos.
And Jerry Miller is he's very well educated on not only on Troy but other schools and so forth. And McKnight and the play-by-play, and of course McKnight makes a living now, ladies and gentlemen, on radio with a guy named Longshore. And Longshore, let me tell you, some people don't like Longshore. Longshore is as good as they come in talk radio, as far as I'm concerned.
He is.
Yeah, Longshore's hilarious to me.
And he's a great guy. I know your brother's real big friends with him. Plays golf with him. They say he can play golf.
He won the Montgomery Country Club championship one year.
Yeah, and of course, he's a big Alabama guy, and of course, I can understand why Auburn guys don't like him. But he tells it like it is, and I think he's real good at what he does.
He was backup quarterback at Jeff Davis to the great one, Mike Turk.
That's right. If it had been for Mike Turk, he would have been a hero.
He was my favorite target on the Sigma Nu B team flag football team.
Wasn't he pretty good?
I was the quarterback, and he was the wide receiver. And
you mean you threw to Longshore?
I threw to Longshore. I threw a lot of touchdowns to him. I'd always open up the game. I'd do down, out, and up to Longshore.
Y'all were on the B team? Y'all weren't on the A team?
Well, we were pledges. We were freshmen. They weren't going to let us be on the.
You know, when I was playing at Troy, the intramural fields were adjacent to the outfield of the baseball field. That's where we practiced football. And across the way was a quarterback named Sim Bird. And he had transferred from Georgia, and was ineligible to play. And but the next 3 years, he was pretty good at Troy. And by the way, he's getting married. Sim Bird is getting married. And congratulations to him and Faith Ward, my dear friend. And
what a sweet, sweet lady.
They're going to be getting married next weekend.
Well,
and,
congratulations, Sim and Faith. Yeah, Sim Bird was pretty good.
Getting it in before football season.
But you know, Mike, there's still people. I was talking to a guy the other day. He said, "Who's Sam Bird?" I never heard of Sam Bird. Well, I tell you what, he's the closest thing to being a legend as anybody around. And I tell you,
I'll tell you something. Getting back to Barry McKnight, he's real busy being the co-host of the #1 rated radio sports calling show in Central Alabama. But he lives here in Troy, and he volunteers and reads to kindergarten and first grade students at Troy Elementary School about every week. He used to read to my daughter's class, and she loved him.
And he really does a good job with that. He could do, I wouldn't doubt if he doesn't do the, someday they do the voice. That's big business, in Hollywood and everything. You hear somebody's voice and they be on a cartoon.
You can make a great living. It's called a voice actor. Yeah. You can make a great.
Who would think?
Barry McKnight went on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
He didn't win.
Yeah.
I watched that. I worked at Cumulus Radio selling ads when he was on for his station, and we watched, and he ended up with $0, but that's because he got a lot of questions right, but then he started trying to have to come back, and he started missing questions, and then it went back to 0. But he probably ended up answering 12 questions right on the show.
Well, it scared me to death, and Barry, I am so glad that you're back, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. And of course, he's first class, and the broadcast at Troy is first class. And like you said, with Amos joining, who's a distant cousin of ours. He adds to
Well, and Amos has a great, very popular sports talk radio show with Charlie Trotman.
Sure does,
Charlie's a super nice guy, the son of Bubba Trotman. But
former Auburn quarterback.
Yeah, he was a good quarterback at Auburn. He was the quarterback when they had Brooks and Andrews and Cribbs.
Yeah. Of course,
when Doug Amos's show comes on, they play Amos Moses.
Amos Moses. Famous Amos. Speaking of Amos, how about some coffee? Good hot coffee from Hill and Brooks this morning.
That's how Today in LA should come on every day with Amos Moses playing in the background.
And brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass. And believe you me, they're dealing. No question about it. I just got through buying a wonderful vehicle from the Dodge place right here in Troy. Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks. I want to mention also, have you ever had a cinnamon roll from Doche?
Yes, I have.
Whoa, those are delicious, I'm telling you.
I love that little shop, that little place.
The other day, I took a friend of mine downtown, and I said, I said, where do you want to go? He said, I want to go to Doche. Is that how you pronounce it?
Doche.
And I said, what are you going to be doing there? He said, I'm meeting a friend for lunch. And they serve lunch, and they serve
pastries and
coffee. Sandwiches. And
it's just a great place to visit and hang out. And I didn't know about it when you took me there the first time, and I was blown away.
Exactly. When I mention a name, I want to know a background.
What about your famous lady, Joyce, does she still do them on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah. Every other Wednesday, Joyce is baking cinnamon rolls, and I love their cinnamon rolls. Now, they've got cream cheese and they got peanut butter. Don't give me that, but give me the cinnamon rolls. But the thing she does better than anybody in the country
we were talking about
is
this.
Wedding cookies. Oh, man. Have you ever had their wedding cookies?
I do not like a wedding cookie.
You don't like your wedding cookies? Gosh, Mike.
Something about the texture of it or something.
Mike, they're wonderful. I love her wedding cookies, and I buy them by the dozens when she's got them. And what you can do, you can put them in the freezer and pull them out, and you're ready to eat. I mean, they're that good. And of course, their cinnamon rolls are wonderful. All right, when we throw out a name,
are they still making those cheesecakes in Troy? Those are pretty good.
I don't know if she's in that business anymore or not. She was. Elicious cheesecakes, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw out a name, and you tell me some background, if you know it. Joe Watson, the owner of
Burgers.
All right, where's he from?
Well, he met Evelyn at Auburn. So
that's right. Evelyn, Daddy owned a drugstore, and Joe, who was a Sigma Nu at Auburn, met Evelyn, and now you know the rest of the story.
But where was his hometown, though? I don't know.
Auburn, Alabama.
Joe is from Auburn.
Joe was from Auburn, Alabama, grew up there, and been an Auburn fan all his life. And, of course, he's a great pharmacist, one of the great people that I know in this town.
Thoughts leave my head in a hurry. Can I say something while I got my fingers crossed?
Sure.
Best in Troy at what they do. You know, I'm going to put Dan Smith up there with sports photography.
Really, really good.
I mean, I have been in the newspaper business and the world's biggest sports fan. I haven't seen anybody that takes any better sports photos than Dan Smith.
Dan Smith's brother is a famous artist. Not Ben, but he's a famous artist. And Dan Smith was born and raised out on Shellhorn Road in Troy, Alabama. And his daddy and his brother owned a body shop called Smith Brothers. And it was located in Trojan Terrace. Also, there was a restaurant at one time in Trojan Terrace, which Trojan Terrace, if you came up Highway 231 before the bypass, the place you'd want to either buy gas or eat would be.
That's before my time.
You know, Ingram's Restaurant and Ingram's Curb Market, Ingram's Restaurant, right there in Trojan Terrace. And later on, Grady Ingram took his restaurant and put it out on the bypass. And now you know the rest of the story. What business, famous business, took over after the Ingrams left, Mike? Hello.
He must have taken the little girls to daycare.
That's right. Yeah, he must be on his way to daycare. Do you know what that was? That was Ingram's Restaurant, and now that's the...
Ingram's Curb Market? No.
No, there's a place where college kids go now, on the bypass. That's where...
Double Branch?
Double Branch, yeah.
The college kids go to Double Branch?
For years and years, it was Ingram's Restaurant. It was a delicious place to eat.
The Front Porch is an iconic bar. It's been here forever, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it when you were in college? The Front Porch wasn't here.
No, it was not here, and of course, it was located right next door to what business that you know of?
We're talking about Double Branch or the Front Porch?
Double Branch.
The florist.
Jean's Flowers was there for many years, and now...
And Martha Lynn owns it, but the Dykes owned it forever.
That's right, and then Martha Lynn's got it now at Jean's Flowers, located on South Brundage Street right here in Troy. And, of course, we appreciate Dixieland Dental and Trojan Auto Parts today.
I saw Belinda the other day. She's the librarian at Troy Elementary School. Yeah. Belinda Dykes. And Neil was in my class 83. I understand he's a real successful accountant in New York City.
And her daddy was a real big Troy fan and a Troy supporter. And this weekend's the big drawdown, and somebody's going to win $10,000 at the big Trojan drawdown. The place to go this weekend, and man, the food is always outstanding. There's a huge buffet. Some people might wear a tie, but most people just wear basic.
My uniform, khakis and button-down shirts.
That's right. And of course, if you are a member of a ticket, whether or not you bought one by yourself or you went in together with somebody, you're welcome to come in and have a wonderful party this weekend. Also, there'll be a big scrimmage starting at 9:30 Saturday morning from the stadium, and you'll get your first-hand look at the new turf at Troy, brand new. As pretty a field as you'll see anywhere in college or pro football is right here at
and this year it should be prettier than it ever will be because it's brand new. I guess over time that it's got to fade a little bit.
Well, it might fade a tad, but it holds its own. I thought the old one looked pretty good, but what I like about this one, and when Scott gets in here, we'll show it to you, is the end zones are red.
You lobbied for that.
What? I should have lobbied hard for it. The end zones are red.
Somebody listened to you. Good job.
So it adds a lot of color. It says Troy on one end and Trojans on the other end, and then something that was new, and I used to see it on TV, and I said to myself, I would love to see that in Troy, is the textured playing field. You got dark grass here, light grass here, dark grass,
I like
light
it.
grass.
There's a contrast.
That's right. You know, there's a certain stadiums in the country that are a little different than others. They're playing fields. Name me two fields that are different than most everybody else's.
That stand out from everybody else's. That's a good question.
Something that's different than that.
That's obviously different than.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they say the Rose Bowl is completely beneath the ground. It's a real bowl.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, I used to love to watch that, the Rose Bowl, every New Year's Day. It was the last game of the, no, it was the afternoon game before the Sugar Bowl that night.
I've never been, but everybody that's been says it lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
Just it's the setting where the stadium is a lot like Troy's.
Yeah.
The setting where Troy Stadium is.
Yeah.
The view around the stadium is part of it is your neighborhood,
That's right.
Crow Hill.
Well, part of it, yeah, it's Crow Lane.
But it makes it really stand out. I mean, you compare it to Auburn's. Auburn Stadium is beautiful, but it's just plopped right in the middle of a lot of buildings. And
you know, there's a sign outside of Troy now saying Troy University, the most beautiful college in Alabama, and you know what? I believe it. It is beautiful. But let me tell you, a stadium.
Well, I can't answer your question, but getting back to the two unique stadiums, what are they?
One of them is LSU. All right, when they line it off, they've got the goal line. Good morning, how you doing? All right, I'll ask you this question. What is one of the most unique features of a college football stadium that everybody else doesn't have?
Two stadiums that are unique, have something that no other stadium has. It's kind of a vague question, Mike, but I get
Well, it's not an easy question, but he knows it. Do you know what?
What we're talking about, just college football stadiums throughout the country?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't.
LSU. What does LSU have that nobody else has?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the field.
Yeah, the field. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about. I thought you were talking about an actual stadium.
Well, the field and the stadium sort of go hand in hand a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, Boise's the blue turf.
Yeah,
that's right. That's different.
Eastern Washington is the red turf.
That's right. Eastern Washington has red
I forgot
turf.
about that one.
Coast of Carolina's the teal turf.
The
teal. What's teal?
It's just a color.
Blue, isn't it?
Coffee. Yeah, teal turf. Yeah. Well, what LSU does differently is when they line their field off, they have the goal line, the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30. Nobody else lines their uses the 5, 10, 15.
I mean, Tennessee does the checkerboard end zone. They're the only ones to do that.
That's right. And also, LSU had something else different in their playing field. Do you know?
The two-pronged goalpost?
The two-pronged goalpost, which I think is very good.
H-shaped goalpost.
Yeah. Mike, let me check this hold here a minute. Be right back with you. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, Will Matthews.
Will Matthews calling in from Dothan, Alabama. Thank you so much, my friend. Isn't it great to have your boss bring you some coffee every morning?
It is nice.
Will Matthews is calling in from Ozark. Hold on a minute. I'm going to put you on hold and bring you in. All right, now we go. Conference call. Look at how easy that was. Why have I been having such a hard time with this all those years? Hello.
No idea.
Well, I'll tell you one reason is we got a new telephone, and it works real good. Will Matthews calling in from Ozark this morning, Matthews Law Firm. Need a lawyer. He's there ready. Will, why don't you have a big billboard saying, call Will if you're in a wreck?
You know,
Or call Will if you want a divorce. Hey, if you want a divorce, call Will. Is that right?
I'm old school. I don't advertise.
But you know,
all the young lawyers advertise. I don't
yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Is it okay if I use this slogan, call Will? What would be your telephone number? What's your telephone number, Will?
774-8804.
Yeah, that's easy. Call Will at 774-8804. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. That's
And talk to the, and of course, if you're looking for a lawyer, he's as good as you're going to get. And of course, you're also a judge in a few communities. Is that right?
That's right. Let me tell you why I'm calling this morning. You remember my cousin that came in fifth in the senior?
Yeah, but for some reason he becomes your cousin. I don't know how he got that way so quick.
You're talking about Doug Barron.
Doug Barron they have not had a senior tournament since the Senior British Open, but they're having one this week in Endicott, New York. And you would think, normally, if you finish in the top 10 in the senior event, you're exempt for the next event. But they did not count the Senior British Open, so he had to qualify yesterday. And he led the qualifying with a 600 par 66.
Golly.
Friday. He will be in the field Friday for the Dick's Sporting Goods Senior Tournament.
Well, that is something, isn't it?
I tell you what, you got to think he's got a chance to win it the way he's playing.
Mm-hmm. Where is he from? Memphis? Is he from Memphis, Will?
Yes.
Will, is it okay for me to say what happened to you? Is that okay for me to say?
Sure.
Will Matthews, of course, can hit a golf ball.
I bet Doug Barron hadn't hit 15 hole-in-ones in his life.
I bet he hadn't either.
You know what? I don't know. I doubt it.
Will, I doubt if there's anybody listening. I doubt if there's anybody listening, even on Facebook, that has had 5 hole-in-ones.
15.
But somebody told me you did it on a 15-yard hole.
No. In fact, if technically, I made 16 hole-in-ones, but one of them happened after I hit a ball out of bounds, and then the next shot I hit the hole for a
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, what they call a double eagle, and, you know, I had, all right, now, you're not going to believe this when I say this. I was playing in a scramble, but at the Trent Jones course in Dothan, I had back-to-back double eagles. Can you blow our eagles, back-to-back eagles? That's not bad, is it?
Nope.
That's pretty.
And people say I'm a terrible golfer, and they're right, but I was playing in a scramble and had back-to-back eagles, or I made the putt for back-to-back eagles.
You're the worst terrible golfer that has 20 sets of clubs.
I got more golf clubs than anybody in Troy, I'm sure.
I'm going to stay on Mike's good side because the next time I need to play golf, I'm going to need a set of clubs, and he says he's going to loan me some.
Yeah. I won't loan it to you. I'll give you some. My wife wants me to get rid of them.
Florida-Miami football line's out at 7.5 right now at Open. It's at 7. I kind of like Florida in 7 points against Miami.
Yeah, but you need to buy that a half point. Is that right, Will? Buy the half a point?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Florida's favored by 7.
I know that. But then you buy the half a point.
You always buy the half a point down, yeah.
6.5. Also, Arizona plays Hawaii that day, too. This is on the 24th. Arizona, Hawaii. Arizona's 11.5-point favorites.
Arizona's supposed to be pretty good, but you know.
That's at Hawaii, though.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen if you have to go to Hawaii. You're right.
Mike, just so you know, it's 11 days, 10 hours, and 16 minutes until Miami and Florida kick it off.
Boy, 11 days? Only 11 days?
11 days.
That is wonderful.
What is that, a Friday or Saturday game?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday. And what time is kickoff? At night?
6 o'clock.
That's going to be a night game, yeah, prime time.
They've got...
And then if you want to stay up early into Sunday morning, the Hawaii game starts at 10:30.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations to Andy Bertram, as he is now the play-by-play announcer for Auburn University. Congratulations. And he's been with the Auburn Network for the last 31 years, who had been a part of the radio broadcast for the past 31 years, now has become the voice of the Auburn Tigers.
You know,
who'll ever forget this? He's going to run it out. Wait a minute. He's going to run it out. He's to the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40. Wait a minute. He's going to go. He's going to go. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn is going to win the football game. He goes 108 yards for a touchdown. The crowd is going wild. Auburn is going to win the football game.
That makes me want
Andy Merchant, wherever you are, War Eagle, Andy Mercham. The Auburn Tigers have just returned a field goal attempt, 108 yards. The only athlete that had any chance in the world to make a play on him was a holder, and he was a little bit short. As name me the guy that scored the touchdown. I couldn't do it. Davis. What's his first name?
I can't.
He's got to be a household word. They've got to make a
statue of him.
I mean, the biggest thing after that call, though, he's famous for is he said they're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Auburn is going to win that's what I like so much about it. He's at the 40, the 35, the 30. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn is going to win the football game. He's going to run it back 108 yards. Auburn's going to win the football game. And this is for you, my dear friend.
How many times we got to listen to this?
Jim Fife is up there, and they're talking back and forth today as the Rod Bramlett and his wife, our prayers and our thoughts with their family. And War Eagle, Auburn is going to win the football game. That will be something that will be an Auburn lure for many years to come, Mike.
Forever.
Mike, whether you like it or not, Auburn is going to win the football game.
Are they going to be playing that Stanford kick return where the guy ran through the bands forever?
That was crazy.
The same with the kick six game. That'll live forever.
Let me tell you another one, and a guy that we know pretty well, Mike, and I'm going to see if I can get you on this one. We know this guy pretty well, witnessed the same thing that happened to him in a college football game a few years back. Do you know who that was?
What are you talking about?
The same thing as the Stanford game. This happened to somebody we know real well. Mike DuBose, coaching over at Millsaps.
Yeah.
Coaching over at Millsaps, had the same thing done to him.
Yeah, Trinity of Texas beat us
That one play was maybe more bizarre.
That's right. I don't know how many times the ball changed hands. You know, these pros actually work on these that. And
might as well.
You know, and of course now if you're a rugby player, you know they do it all the time. You know.
I mean,
I've already found the lock of the first week of the season. Mississippi State travels to Louisiana Lafayette. Lafayette won 7 games and was in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game last year. Mississippi State will be traveling to Louisiana Lafayette. They are a 22.5-point favorite.
I'd take Lafayette.
At Lafayette, 22.5.
I know it. I'd take him in a second. You know, though, I saw some friends of mine the last time I was at Lafayette. We were sitting there, and there were some Lafayette fans sitting in front of them, and they get sort of jabbering back and forth. The security guy comes down, and this is a man and his wife. They jerked them up and just practically pulled them out of the ball. And the guys that were causing all the trouble, they didn't even touch them. But that was at Lafayette, and of course.
How crazy is this? Memphis is favored against Mississippi. Ole Miss is a 6.5-point underdog at Memphis.
Ole Miss. I like Memphis, but I don't know. You mean they're a 6.5-point underdog? Ole Miss is.
Yeah, Memphis is the favorite.
Boy, that is something. You're right.
They'll beat Ole Miss to death. I know, but that's no respect for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is terrible, Michael.
Well, with all your contacts in Memphis, you can probably get 50-yard line seats.
Well, that game will be a very, very hard sellout, I promise.
Yeah,
that's right. How far is Memphis from Oxford?
Vanderbilt Commodores are 20.5-point underdogs against Georgia to start the season.
You know what? They're going to play Georgia pretty tough, I believe. Their guy's a good defensive coach, and he's got a pretty good plan on defense.
That game must be an Athens.
Yeah.
It is.
We're having a hard time hearing you today, Will.
No, it's at Vandy.
Oh, it's at Vandy, and they're a 20.5-point dog? Wow.
Yeah, that game's at Vandy. Alabama is now a 33.5-point favorite against Duke.
33.5-point favorite against Duke. You know, the guy at Duke's about as good a football coach as there is in America. What do you think?
Well, at the program he's at, yeah.
Who?
David Cutcliffe?
Yeah, Will. Are you still on, Will?
Yeah, I am.
We can hardly hear you, Will. You don't have a good reception today.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. I know you're trying to get a cup of coffee and a biscuit, egg biscuit.
No, I'm actually driving between Ozark and Dothan.
Yeah. Of course, Will's the only fella I know that's got a stadium named after him in Ozark.
That's right.
Matthews Stadium.
You be careful driving, Will. I read the other day that somebody was calling in a national sports call-in show. It was a writer for Sports Illustrated, Peter King.
Yeah, I know Peter King, know who he is.
I think, Jim Rome's show or some show like that. He was calling in doing this weekly interview, and he got pulled over while he was doing the interview for talking on his cell phone. He said, y'all aren't going to believe this, but I got to pull over and hang up because I'm getting ready to get a ticket for talking to y'all.
Oh, boy, isn't that amazing?
And then he told the officer, he said, I was just on Jim Rome's show, and he said, here's your ticket.
No question about it. Will Matthews is on, and of course I want to say good morning to my good friend Sam Judah at Circle Insurance, and of course Sam is one of the leading insurers in the Ozark area. You got any insurance with Sam Judah, Will?
I've got about 5 policies with him.
About 5 policies. He is a first-class individual, I'll tell you that. And he's done business with us for quite a while, and we appreciate him very much. Also, my good friend Bearfields at Bearfields Clothing Store in downtown Ozark. It is as good. Go there and come back and tell me if I'm right. It's one of the top men's and women's clothing stores you'll find anywhere in this part of the country. Nowadays there's so many chains.
They don't have them anymore.
That's right. When you walk in, it's like Rosenberg's used to be in Troy. You remember Rosenberg's, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have.
That's right.
All the big department stores that run the little people out of business.
I bought 2 pairs of shoes from him last time I was in there, or at least he sold them to me. He's gonna sell you something. This guy's a super salesman. Talking about Mike Bearfield.
Favorite thing growing up in Troy was going to Rosenberg's, and then I did TG&Y.
Yeah, that's right. But I'll tell you this.
What happened to TG&Y, that chain?
I don't know. It didn't make it, evidently. Big K, too. They had a Big K, too.
Sears is going that way, if you can believe that.
Yeah. Sears, of course, was noted for what, Will? What did Sears do that nobody else did to begin with?
I have no idea.
The catalog.
No, well, they had the catalog, but they also, for their employees, they had something that nobody else had.
A discount for employees?
Yeah, what I'm saying, they
Stock shares?
Yep, that's right. They started, they had stock shares that very few people.
I wish I'd have bought stock in Dollar General, because there's one in every
Oh, gosh, exactly.
Every single country spot. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
It is amazing.
They got 3 from when you turn off on the interstate in Evergreen to go to Andalusia. You pass 3 Dollar Generals.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you right now, the Dollar General in Troy on North 39th Street has got to be one of the largest in their company. It's a huge Dollar General right there across from First Baptist Church.
Yeah, we use it all the time. It's right at the end of Murphy Street.
Exactly right. And of course, it's got a lot of store. It's like going to a grocery store.
It's a mini Walmart, but you can get in and out so much faster than Walmart.
The only reason I go there, they sell Heinz 57 out of the bottle for $1.
Oh, man, that is a good deal. You're exactly right. Didn't Heinz change flavors, though, at one time? I was a big Heinz guy, and then they changed flavors on me.
I've done a story on this as a freelance writer. That's called substitution, where the manufacturer uses cheaper ingredients to save money. And so a lot of people have done that. Yeah. Some we know of, and some we just kind of suspect.
Yeah, exactly,
you say, well, it tastes different. It doesn't taste like it used to.
Well, then Coca-Cola came out and tried to change the taste of Coca-Cola. That was the greatest thing in the world.
They did New Coke. That was awful.
Oh, yeah.
Disaster, too. They lost their foot.
Exactly.
Well, they switched back. At least they learned the error of their ways.
Will Matthews is on our show this morning.
What is the oldest sauce? The pepper sauce? I mean, the hot sauce. What's it called?
Tabasco?
Tabasco.
That's got to be the oldest sauce there is, isn't there?
I don't know.
Heinz
I would think ketchup. I would think Heinz ketchup or something like that would be. Now, Worcestershire, Lynn, what's the name brand?
Lynn Perrins.
Now, you know, that's the big difference is buying that Lynn Perrin. They've got, I mean, there's other people that tried to copy them, but nobody's got it better than Lynn Perrin. Don't you agree, Will?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
John Kerry that ran for president.
I'm a huge A1 fan, too.
I like Heinz. John Kerry that ran for president and then was the Secretary of State under Obama, I think. He married into the Heinz money.
Yeah, that's right.
His wife was not a Heinz, but she had married a Heinz heir. And then when he died, she got all of his Heinz money, and then John Kerry married her.
That's right, yeah.
And you talk about a massive company. They're selling a lot of ketchup and Heinz 57 all over the world.
Well, yesterday, right here in my car right now, there's nuts everywhere where I tried to put the nuts in my Coca-Cola as I drove, but I got a lot of them in there, but I still like my nuts in my Coke.
I've never done that one, yeah.
But now, when I was growing up, I put...
They did that like an RCA Cola.
But let me tell you all this. When I was growing up, there was 3 real big colas. You had Coca-Cola, you had Pepsi, and you had RC. Well, Pepsi and RC were bigger bottles. You know, Coke just had the small bottle, and Pepsi had the big tall bottle, and so I always bought Pepsi-Cola. And for 25 cents, I could get a Pepsi-Cola and a bag of Tom's Toasted Peanuts. Now, Tom's and Lance were big rivals at one time, and I always liked Tom's peanuts because you could get them in the bottle a lot easier. The Lance peanuts were bigger, but now the square peanut butter cracker, the orange-looking square peanut butter cracker, I still like it over anything that
and those aren't that expensive.
That Tom's ever did. Now, Tom's Toasted Peanuts came out of what town, Mike?
I have no clue.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, my friend. Where did Tom's Toasted Peanuts come from?
Some peanut town, Dothan.
No, it came out of Columbus, Georgia. Tom's Toasted Peanuts came out of Columbus, Georgia. And then... Golden
Plate came out of Birmingham?
Golden Plate came out of Birmingham, the Bashinskis.
With Troy connection.
With Troy connection. Their grandmama lived on West College Street in Troy, and that house is for sale, and it is a beautiful home. We're going to take a short break, brought to you by Sisters Restaurant. You can't beat Sisters, and that's all I got to say. You can't beat Sisters. We'll be back.
I love my job. We get to help people who are having the worst day of their life.
You just got to be ready for whatever hits.
She wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
Stay still there. Stay still. It's fine.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance. Whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies, Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Safety first at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we practice safety first. That's right, safety first. Remember, school is about to start. Look twice, then look again. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, where safety is first. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, 401k, up to 4% of your gross pay. We match it, 4% of your gross pay. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Drive for the best, Wiley Sanders.
Well, somebody is. Back to our show, brought to you by our good friends at Bird Drugs on the square in downtown Troy, and Wise Office Supply for office equipment, office furniture, school supplies, business supplies.
Don't you think the Wise is like our Auburn tribute just a little while ago?
Auburn. Hey, the Wise is loved it, ladies and gentlemen. because Auburn is going to win the football game. That's what was worse about it than
I think they go to every game in their RV.
They really do. They're big Auburn fans, no question. Let me tell you this.
I bet they'll be in Dallas, don't you think?
Let me tell you this. Looking back on that play, Alabama had a bunch of big old linemen in the game to block for the field goal. Well, the guy didn't even get it to the goal post, and they turned around and ran it back for a touchdown. The reason they ran it back for a touchdown was there wasn't but one athlete in the game, and that was the holder, who was a backup quarterback, and he made one dive around midfield. But after that, it was all slow linemen trying to run this guy down. And the guy that made the call is the guy that where I'm going to tonight is Bruton, Alabama, a guy that went to W.S. Neal High School in Bruton and later coached at Troy and at Auburn.
His name is Scott Fountain.
Scott Fountain, and I'm going to mention that tonight at that meeting. Auburn is going to win the football game because Scott Fountain hollered down to Coach Malzahn, said, "Coach, do you want us to put anybody back?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead." And hey,
genius.
Where are you meeting in Bruton? Are you going to be at the country club?
No, we're going to be at a restaurant. There's a catfish restaurant there that we're going to be at. I'm going to go by there, though. A good friend of mine built that golf course.
So who's the big name in Bruton? The McMillans?
The McMillans and the Blodales. Have you ever heard of a company named Macmillan Blodale? Big paper company. There's a lot of rich folks in Bruton, Alabama. And of course, T.R. Miller.
T.R.
is
Miller.
the other school. And
but that's named after T.R. Miller.
Who's the greatest player out of Bruton? Walter Lewis?
Walter Lewis was pretty good. But you know who played right down the road, don't you, that was played against Walter Lewis, don't you? If you can name this, I'm going to buy you a steak from your favorite steak place.
I don't know who played against Walter Lewis.
His last name starts with an I.
Lou Eichner.
Lou Eichner.
He did probably
Now
play.
tell me the greatest player to ever play at W.S. Neal High School of Bruton.
Philip Jones.
No. He wore number 33.
Calvin Culliver.
Calvin Culliver, Mike. Do you know they thought at one time that Calvin Culliver would win the Heisman Trophy? Alabama put him up for the Heisman Trophy, but
he got hurt or something.
Yeah, something like that. And
he had a great per carry average.
Now let me ask you this real important question: what colors do they wear at W.S. Neal, and what colors do they wear at T.R. Miller?
I think they wear red and black at Miller.
You're right. First part is correct. Do you know what colors they wear at W.S. Neal of Bruton?
White and blue.
You're close. It's blue and gold. A baby blue type and gold is what they wear. Gold helmets with gold. W.S. Neal here at Myrtle Creek Stadium is about to receive the kick. T.R. Miller will kick from the south end of the field. W.S. Neal in their brilliant gold pants with blue jerseys and brilliant gold helmets. And the T.R. Miller on the other end is in their red jerseys with black trousers and red helmets. Coming into the game, T.R. Miller has won 19 straight games.
At one time, that's about what they won. Maybe still, they're one of the powers of high school football.
Well, at one time, their coach was the winningest high school football coach in Alabama. And do you know that guy's name? Do you know him, Mike?
He's head coach at Houston Academy now.
That's right.
Jamie Riggs.
Jamie Riggs at one time broke my great friend Coach Glenn Daniels' record. Coach Daniel, I know you're watching today. You're a great man, my friend, and not only are you a great football coach, but even greater Sunday school teacher. Everybody always told me that you were the best Sunday school teacher in the country.
And his daughter was a great social studies and history teacher at Charles Simpson High School
and
for a long time.
For being that great Sunday school teacher, I'm going to be in Luverne Thursday night we're going to be underneath the shed there at the Troy, for a Troy reunion or Troy alumni club.
Yeah, you had Miss Porter and you had Miss Enzi.
Yeah, that's right.
Miss Enzi was a
math.
Daniel, yeah.
All taught math, and he
yeah,
taught.
I'm really interested about this story. Apparently, they're allowing hunting of a crane in Alabama starting now called the Sand Hill Crane. I'm interested if you talking to Steve Camp about this. It's apparently called the ribeye of the sky. Apparently, this is like an unbelievable meat.
Off of
the
a bird?
Sand Hill Crane in Alabama. It's the first time hunters have been able to hunt this bird in 100 years.
Have you heard that before, Steve? Steve, give us a report on that.
It's called a Sand Hill Crane. I mean, it's a beautiful looking bird. It's going to.
Boy, I can see people out on the beach with a shotgun, Mike. You better be quiet on that.
Alabama becomes the third state in the southeast since 2011 to allow hunting of the Sand Hill cranes, along with Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly.
That reminds me of a story that old timers will remember. You know, downtown Troy has had a pigeon problem periodically.
That's right, yeah.
And one time there was so bad that they just cleared downtown and let all the best bird shooters in town come in and get their posts wherever they wanted to and shoot as many pigeons as they could. And my grandfather, Hickey Chapman, was one of the great, he was supposedly one of the best dove shooters in town, and he participated in that great pigeon shoot.
Who else were great dove shooters? Another good friend of mine, was Mr. Harris, and he was a great dove shooter.
I went with Hickey a couple of times when I was a kid, and he rarely missed, even when he was an older man.
And I knew a lot of people. The worst thing in the world, though, is to dove shoot with next to a guy that's got a dog, because that dog is constantly getting my birds. You know what I mean? Will, is that Steve? Has that ever happened to you?
The dog getting your birds.
Well, Steve, I want to see a picture of Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep, and take a look at Jason's beautiful daughters. Of course, we've got a new commercial for Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep that shows a picture of Jason's beautiful family. They've moved here from Columbus, Georgia, and love it here in Troy, and we're excited that they're here. And believe you me, they're dealing
Columbus,
like
Georgia.
Nobody else at Dodge Chrysler.
What is Columbus, Georgia known for?
Columbus, Georgia is known from Fort Benning.
That's right.
All right, that's another good one, yeah.
What is the biggest military base in America? You think Fort Benning might be it?
No, well, Eglin Field is, I think, by
a number of people that work there.
Eglin Field in Fort Walton's real big, and
Fort Benning is the home of the infantry, and I bet there's more troops that are in the infantry than anything else.
In fact, your dad played football for him after he got out of Alabama, didn't he?
With Pat Dye, they were called the Doughboys. They had
they were real good.
Each military base once had their own football team, and they were filled with former college and pro players.
You know, people are the very best quality roofing. Jeff is the best roofer in this part of the country, and you need to call him today. And Hook's Barbecue, Mike, is the best barbecue around too, isn't it?
It's definitely the best in Pike County and the surrounding areas. It's not anything close.
I want to tell you somebody else has got something good. I love Cookout's hamburger. It's fresh hamburger meat. I like it. You ever eat at Cookout?
Yeah.
Their regular hamburger with lettuce and tomato and onion and ketchup and mustard is as good a hamburger as you'll find out on the bypass. Now, the best hamburger in town, without any doubt, in my mind, is Bird Drugs hamburger located in downtown Troy. Of course, Mike, since he moved to Florida and will occasionally come to Troy, the thing he would order for breakfast would be a chocolate milkshake at Bird's. Can you get one right now for breakfast if you wanted one?
At Bird's Drugs, yeah, they'll make a milkshake anytime.
I mean, anytime, even for breakfast. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I always called it a protein shake. I was just, I didn't, just because it was chocolate milkshake, it was more of a protein shake for me.
I want to look at these pretty girls. Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep.
Is that normal to get a chocolate milkshake and bacon in the morning for your breakfast?
I know that was what you did,
but you're an American original, so that's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about something that is real important to a lot of people, and that is losing weight. The guy sitting next to me, when he came on this show 5 weeks ago, he got on a diet, and it was called the Atkins diet.
So the camera made you want to lose weight, Bill?
That was probably part of it. Yeah. We're staring at a monitor right now.
I got him a cheap haircut, and he's lost a lot of weight. Tell him exactly what you're doing and how much weight you've lost.
Well, I never weigh because I don't want to know. That would shock me too much. But I've lost at least 20 pounds because I can tell. The khakis I'm wearing right now, I couldn't come close to a fit in 5 weeks ago. But it's the Atkins diet, also known as the low-carb diet. Basically, you eat any meat you want to, a lot of cheese, certain vegetables like broccoli, green beans, lettuce, and you count carbohydrates instead of calories. And my goal is to not eat more than 20 net carbs per day. You gotta cut out bread, that's tough, potatoes, most fruits, most vegetables, definitely sugar. But if you can stay on it, you will lose a lot of weight in a hurry. And the other thing I like about this diet, while I always come back to it, is the things you can eat, like eggs, steak, hamburger.
Omelet,
you can eat sausage, bacon. You can eat as much of it as you want to, because it has 0 carbs. So I can eat 7 scrambled eggs.
Does it matter whether the meat is fried or grilled?
Yeah,
or what?
you can't be fried because that has breading, which is flour.
Yeah.
So if you eat chicken, it needs to be grilled chicken. Last night I had pork chops, broccoli, and green beans.
All right, it was grilled pork chops?
Yeah. Well, I baked them.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you could have a salad with, Thousand Island dressing, cheese, bacon bits.
No, not Thousand Island. That's high carb. But ranch, blue cheese, balsamic, I think. A lot of salad dressings. But yeah,
vinegar and oil is good.
So, but yeah, you can eat all the salads you want to with bacon bits, cheese.
How about nuts? Can you eat nuts?
Peanuts aren't real high carb, and then I think walnuts and there's several nuts you can eat for snacks. Your other snack is kind of gross to me, fried pork rinds.
Yeah, which I like pork rinds. Yeah.
I live on Vienna sausages. I eat a lot of.
You know what is real good?
They have Atkins candy bars and milkshakes.
I'll tell you something that's wonderful is your cheese and sausage sticks.
Yeah.
They're real good.
I tell you what my wife makes that's incredibly good. She makes cauliflower potatoes. They're kind of like cauliflower mashed potatoes, and they really taste good.
Those are low carb, yeah.
I like cauliflower, that's been cooled, and then you come up with a good dressing to go on top of it. Of course, it's raw. I like raw cauliflower.
I mean, you can eat a veggie lasagna. I mean, there's a veggie lasagna at Barago down here that's one of the best things I've ever had.
One of my favorite staples is Taco Tuesday, taco night. I just don't eat the taco shell, but I have the taco meat, the onions, the peppers, mushrooms, sour cream, salsa sauce is low carb.
The great thing about it, it works, and he's evident of that. And
I've done it many times, and I would do hot dogs. I would do kraut on hot dogs, onions.
Yeah, I like kraut. So you can have kraut with mustard and ketchup.
Mustard's zero carbs. You could have. There's some low carb chili. Most chili sauce doesn't have a lot of carbs, so you just don't have the bun. So you can go and get a burger, just don't eat the bun.
Yeah. All right.
But now it'll work. And it's good for your bad cholesterol. Some people say it's great for diabetes and pre-diabetes. The challenge is staying on it forever. Yeah. Probably like any diet.
How about things like coffee, caffeine? Is that all right?
As long as you don't put sugar in it.
Yeah. And you can drink Diet Coke.
There's creamers that are low carb. You can drink Diet Coke. I drink Crystal Light lemonade a lot. Now they have zero-carb Gatorades that have just come out. It's called...
Oh, I like them a lot. They're really good.
G0.
You can't tell the difference. It's really good.
I do, too. I just discovered those.
Yeah, that is a good product. No question.
Now, it's a fad diet. It seems like it's popular for a while, and then everybody's on it, and then you don't hear anything about it.
Do you have energy?
Yeah, I don't... After about a week or two, you might have small headaches, but after about 2 weeks, when you're used to it, I feel much better. I don't have these, because my sugar is much better, I don't have these sinking periods later in the afternoon. Your appetite, your metabolism adjusts, so you're really not that hungry after about 2 or 3 weeks on it.
Another thing is if you stayed away from everything that's white, but that includes bread and cookies and whatever, but you know, this is everything that's white, including sugar. And if I could stay away from sugar, I would.
I think if you stay away from sugar, and then maybe don't stay away completely from bread, but cut back on bread, I think you're going to lose weight. But I'm sold. I've always heard the Heart Association says stay away from fat and count calories. But I think that Dr. Atkins was on to something, that these carbohydrates and sugar and bread were a lot worse for us than we realized. And now the science was first very skeptical, attacked this diet, but now I think it's kind of coming around to saying it's okay.
Of course, we're talking football today, talking diet, and of course, he's proven, and you're not going hungry. That's one thing. I mean, like this morning, if you wanted to go to Burge, you could eat much bacon as you wanted.
Well, you've been with me. I get all the eggs I can get, and then I get bacon and sausage.
Yeah. But the easiest thing is an omelet. An omelet, you can get, you know, omelet with meat.
Ham and cheese, onions, peppers, mushrooms that are low carb.
And the university
you got to see a good choice cafeteria and then go to the omelet station and get 2 omelets.
That's right. They start their omelets tomorrow. School starts at Troy tomorrow, and so does the omelets. One other thing, of course, this is not on your diet, is those Belgium waffles with the strawberries on top of it. Whoa. And that's also at the dining hall at Troy. I tell you, if you want a good place to eat breakfast, that's a good place to eat breakfast. And you could, now cereal is not good, even oatmeal. How about oatmeal?
You can't have that. You can't have grits, no cereal. There's a lot of things.
Dad, you've done this diet.
Oh, I know it.
No telling how many times in your life.
Well, I don't know, but it's not a bad diet, to be honest, as far as...
if you've gotten too heavy and you need to lose as much weight as you can in 3 or 4 months, 2 months even, it'll work.
Yeah.
But you got to... Your body goes into ketosis, and so basically what I think happens is your body burns your fat for energy.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you stay below those 20 carbs and your body goes into ketosis, but then one day you splurge and have 400 carbs in a day, your body might go out of ketosis, and then it's going to take you 2 or 3 days for this to kick back in.
I tell you something that's good is to take slaw, and of course, you know, one of these restaurants that are famous for the slaw and French dressing. Can you eat French dressing?
No. That's
all right. Well, there
ranch, blue cheese.
But of course, you know, I love the slaw with French dressing.
You like John's slaw sauce.
Yeah, that's right.
They have it at Nikki's West in Murrayham. Right. They have it at John's downtown.
You can eat.
They sell that slaw sauce in Murrayham.
You can eat dill pickles or zero carbs. You can eat cheese. We've talked about
olives.
Celery is low carb, so I like to get for a snack. I'll get celery and put pimento cheese in the celery.
I like celery.
Well, I mean, one of the best meals you could have is like smoked hot wings. You know, a lot of restaurants do the smoke now, and you could have the celery and you could have the blue cheese. That's all one meal.
Right. That's good too.
I'll go to a barbecue place, you know, Hooks or somewhere, and you got to get low carb barbecue sauces, but they're out there, and then green beans and the side salad, and put some onions and pickles on your barbecue. That will fill you up.
And so you're real strict with your sauces, man. I've never been that strict. I've done Atkins many times, and I've never been that strict with sauces. I still just do anything on sauces.
Yeah, no, I look at the labels, and
the key with Atkins though is you still got to exercise too.
What about mentioned Cinco Drugs today? My good friend Walt and Kristen Sanders, they own Cinco Drugs. Of course, Charles, the original owner, is the pharmacist, and they do a great job. Remember, the Withington Group, you're in good hands with Allstate. See Perry Green at the Withington Group right here in Troy, and also our good friends at Troy Regional Medical Center, one of the outstanding hospitals for the size of community you'll find anywhere.
It's important to support our hospital.
No question about it.
Stephen Coleman out of Pike County Hospital is on the final poll for the Mount Rushmore of best high school player in the state of Alabama history. All
right, let's go with that.
Let's do our area.
I'll tell you one that.
Well, no, I mean, this is overall. This is the Sweet 16. All the regions have already been picked. Oh. So this is who you're left of the final 16 greatest players ever to play high school football since. I think 1967 was the date.
How many are we going to end up naming?
Mike
16?
DeBose has to be on that list, but I don't know.
No, he's not on the list.
All right.
We've already gone over all these different regions.
I'll tell you that little short guy.
Birmingham, we went through Montgomery, we went through the Wiregrass.
Yeah. Mike, the little short guy from Mobile, what was his name? Went to Auburn.
Electron Williams.
Electron Williams was a great high school running back. Yeah.
Let me.
I don't think.
Is there a goal to get this down to just 5 people, like is actually on Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore's just 4.
So we're gonna get it down to 4, the best 4.
Yeah, this is it.
All right, tell us.
I mean, Stephen Coleman, this is a great honor for him to be on this list.
This is unreal. Yeah, it sure is.
And then and how do you base it just on their high school career? I mean, you can't. Are we saying we can't?
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys, are great high school players and didn't really do that much at the next level. Stephen Coleman went to Grambling and then he finished his career at Troy.
Yeah, that's right. He never really.
But his high school career, he would deserve to be on there.
Oh, yeah, he scored over 100 touchdowns.
High school players of all time, like. Yeah. You got Wilbur Jackson out of Ozark on this list, too.
Yeah, he was good.
What about John Hanna, the best offensive lineman in the history of the game? Surely he's got to be on there.
All right, here it is. Who should be on the Mount Rushmore of Alabama high school football? Vote for the 4 players you think are most deserving all time. Number 1, this is just the whole list. So, the poll's on AL.com if anybody wants to do the poll today. You got Julio Jones out of Foley.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzie Newsome out of Colbert County.
Mm-hmm.
David Palmer out of Jackson Olin.
Mm-hmm.
Woodrow Lowe out of Central Phoenix City.
Yeah.
C.J. Mosley out of Theodore.
Yeah, we're going.
Cornelius Bennett out of Inslee.
Yeah.
John Hanna out of Albertville.
Definitely.
Stephen Coleman out of Pike County.
That's a local guy. Yeah.
Carnell Williams out of Etowah.
Yeah.
Vincent Bo Jackson out of McAdory.
He didn't do much in high school.
Not a household word in
high school
football.
Tony Griffin out of Woodlawn.
He was good. Jeff Rutledge needs to be on there.
He's not on there. Philip Rivers out of Athens.
Philip Rivers out of Athens.
You got to remember everybody, all the fans throughout the state of Alabama or across the country voted on this on AL.com.
Okay.
Pat White out of Daphne.
Yeah.
Wilbur Jackson out of Carroll of Ozark.
Will's good friend.
That's a great honor, yeah.
Fred Beasley, running back, Lee Montgomery.
Yeah, he was great in high school.
And then T.J. Yeldon, running back, Daphne.
Yeah,
those are your 16. You got to vote for 4.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
It's an unbelievable honor. That many people out of the state of Alabama voted for Stephen Coleman.
Yeah, I know it. That was great.
All right, I'm gonna do it off the top of my head. This based just on high school and just how good of football players they are. John Hanna. I'm going to go with Tony Nathan, Woodrow Lowe, and David Palmer. David Palmer was a sensation in high school. You do say I picked all Alabama players, but I don't really think that, I'm not being biased against Auburn. Bo Jackson is an icon. But in high school, he didn't rush.
Right. He was more of a track star.
But you know good and well they're going to vote Bo on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
you got to think it's going to be Bo Jackson. I think Hanna will get in there, as one of the older guys, and then I think
Julio.
You'll definitely have Julio,
Yeah.
and then it'll basically come down to maybe Ozzie Newsome or like Carnell Williams, something like that.
How about this? Ozzie Newsome, John Hanna, the Wizard of...
You probably put Julio ahead of Tony Nathan, yeah. Now,
Julio
Bo
Jones.
Jackson will definitely be on that Mount Rushmore.
And Palmer.
If fans are voting, Bo will be on there. And
yeah. So Jackson.
I mean, the hardest thing for Alabama fans will be to decide between Palmer, Newsome, and Jones.
Yeah. This one would be the best. Ozzie Newsome, John Hanna, not Wilbur Jackson, but Julio Jones, and the great one out of Auburn.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
That sounds good.
Ozzie Newsome, Bo Jackson, John Hanna, and Julio Jones. Oh man, that's four great ones.
I mean, Cornelius Bennett, as far as defense, is hard not to put on there. He's one of the greatest of all time.
I remember when he played high school ball even. This is a great one right here. Even though Bo didn't play a lot of high school football as much as the rest of them, but Hannah went to Baylor High School in Baylor Prep in Chattanooga, and Ozzie went to school at.
He went to school at Leeton.
Leeton High School, yeah, Colbert County High School.
Let me just tell you something. I've been to Leeton and I've been to Colbert County. It is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know who else they didn't put on that list as one of the nominees or finalists?
Jeff Rutledge was a great one.
Don McNeil from Atmore was
he
fantastic defensive back. Had a long pro career and great career. He saved the national championship for Alabama with a tackle he made right before the goal line stand.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of people he could have been on. I mean, DeMarcus Ware out of Auburn High School is not on there, but he wasn't, I think, a household name in high school.
I tell you what, Don Horsted out of Elba, or the Oppa Elba, I want to say
Elba.
he played at Opp, didn't he?
Not Elba. We played against him.
Yeah, but he was a great one. And
he was the most...
a lot better high school player.
The guy out of Jasper was a great player, Lenny Patrick.
Oh, yeah, Lenny Patrick was a great one.
Oh, he was one of the most highly coveted recruits ever at Alabama.
He was a great one. They call him the Jasper Comet.
I mean, you got like George Teague that played at Jeff Davis. I mean, there's all kinds of names that could have been on this list.
Jeremiah Castile was, from Phoenix City.
Castile was a great one, but Woodrow Lowe. Hit and knocked down by Woodrow Lowe at the Alabama 14-yard line. And Alabama's going to win the football game. Alabama's going to win the football game.
I mean, what's crazy, though, is Pike County High School could have had Cornelius on here. They could have had Fred Baxter.
Yeah, that's right.
They could have had Chris Nixon.
That's
they could
right.
have had Quincy Jackson.
Yeah, you're right.
Pike County has had some great,
they've had some great ones.
The list at Pike County High School is really unbelievable.
Randy Walls.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the great sports prognosticator out of Birmingham, and ladies and gentlemen, when he was asked who is the greatest running back of all time at Alabama, a lot of folks said Johnny Musso. A lot of folks said, we're running out of time.
How's Musso not on this list?
Yeah, Musso was a great one, but more of a great. He played at.
What about Major Ogilvie? Was a fantastic high school
player. What I'm talking about, the orphan boy. I'll take the orphan boy from Troy any day of the week, Bobby Marlowe.
Yeah, right.
I
wish I could have seen him play. Don't you think people were terrified of tackling him?
Hoodie Ingram, the late great, or the great, he's not dead yet, the former Alabama safety and AD, said that Marlowe was the greatest high school greatest player he ever played with.
He must have been unstoppable in high school. And he was on a high school team that not only went undefeated at Troy High School, from what I gather, they beat everybody they played by 40 points.
Well, a lot of people said that, you heard this old saying that...
Back in the day, did they play at Troy at Veterans Memorial Stadium?
They played at the baseball field, right there at the baseball field.
What, Riddle Pace?
Yeah, Riddle Pace. They played in the outfield.
Until they built it. Then once they built the stadium,
that was called Pace Field, and that's where they played. Where Marlowe played most of his high school playing days. Sammy Carr was a good friend.
Do you remember that at all? Was that like a nice surface?
No, that was he played. He was a senior in about 1948.
49, yeah.
48, 49, and Of course, he gained 235 yards against Auburn one night, and close to 300 against Georgia Tech. He was on Georgia Tech's all-time opponent team. Of course, he was raised out here at the Alabama Baptist School Children's Home right here in Troy. And there was another player in that same backfield that later on started Auburn.
I think there were about 7 or 8 guys on that team that ended up playing in Division I college football.
His name was Charlie Hadaway.
Yeah.
Charlie Hadaway.
I think Albert Elmore was on the team.
That's right, Albert Elmore Jr.
The greatest,
Johnny Priest was young.
The greatest All-American ever to come out of the children's home, though, is
Raymond Ledford. And that quarterback, Raymond Ledford, 5'8.5", 294 from Troy, Alabama. Raymond.
Once you get Raymond to come on the show with you a bit.
And they gave Raymond the beer joint, ladies and gentlemen.
Raymond's one of the best storytellers ever.
And one of the great people of all time, Raymond Ledford. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Mike, one more time, though, I want you to hear this. Auburn's going to win the football game. Have a great game. Great day.
Great game. Thank you. I got butterflies.
Have a great day. Remember, Auburn's going to win the football game, Mike.
They're going to win at least 9 games.
Have a good one.